Good day, everyone, and welcome to the world of the International Fab Talks. How many of you would love to contribute to the environment in the right way? Each one of us should do that. It is the duty of every single individual on this planet to take care of the environment. Today, we have a wonderful celebrity who's joining us all the way from Dehradun. He is an IFS officer, and his name is none other than Yuvraj Digra, a person connected with contributing so much to the society and the environment as well. He's been brought up in the very right way. He's been brought up in the right way to give back to the society. He's a hard worker, very passionate about what he's doing, and very committed to his country. Let's get to know his journey and learn a lot. I would love the youth of India to be connected with this particular podcast that we have connected with Yuvraj Digra. He's joining us all the way from Dehradun. I'm really excited to get to know about his work and why has he joined the IFS. Now, what is the IFS? We'll get to know all of it. For now, let's join together and welcome our celebrity guest. He is none other than Mr. Yuvraj Digra. Hello, sir, and welcome to the session. Thank you so much for being a part of our journey. Thank you for accepting the invitation.
First of all, good evening, ma'am, and good evening to all the. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my story so that I can motivate others also. Once again, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for being so humble. This is what we want the youth of the entire world to learn, to be humble, down to earth, and to respect the right kind of people in their lives and to learn a lot from the surroundings that we have, maybe from elders or from various experiences, etc. So I go ahead and share your profile in a brief way and then we begin the session.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So, dear friends, we have with us today none other than Yuvraj sir. He's here with us. Let's get to know more about his journey. He's joined the IFS, that is the Indian Forest Services, in the year 2023. He's very focused on his mission of taking it forward, which is connected to the Ministry of Environment. Today, we'll get to know how he's contributing from his side in getting to learn all the different aspects that they teach them during the course of becoming the final product of the IFS. So he's here with us. It's connected with forests and climate change, etc. The best part is, why did he choose this? Because many of the people wouldn't want to come deeply into this aspect of taking care of the environment. If they look after themselves and their family, they are very happy. But there are certain people like Yuvraj sir who has taken the leap forward to protect the environment and to give his very best to preserve it for the younger generation or the coming generation. With this, we'd like to start off now on this beautiful note, the journey of getting to know Mr. Yuvraj Digra, who's joining us from Dehradun. So thank you so much for being here with us. The first question is, why did you enter into the field of this connection with the environment? Why the field of environment? Why not the IT sector? Why not the medical sector? Over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there are two aspects for coming to this service. First of all, I am coming from an agricultural background because my father is in farming sector and he has been farming for more than 30 years now. And I have seen the issues which are arising due to the agriculture, which are impacting the environment, like rice and the paddy plantation in Punjab. It has led to the degradation of groundwater levels, and it is creating methane emissions, which is overall polluting the environment. And at the same time, ma'am, the stubble burning, which is happening due to the paddy fields. So it is contributing to the pollution in the Delhi NCR region. So I thought it would be a better way of myself contributing to the society at large by joining this service. And second, ma'am, after graduating from mechanical engineering, I joined Coal India Limited. And during Coal India, my time at Coal India Limited, we actually did very destruction because we removed and cleared forest so that we can mine the coal. And I started preparation for the IFS during my stay at Coal India itself. And I think by joining IFS and working for the environment, climate change and protection of forest, I can do the penance of destroying the forest. And this is the way I can contribute to the society at large and the mother earth at large, ma'am. So that's why I joined IFS. Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Superb. I really like the way you put it also. And coming from an agricultural background, you've understood what it takes.
Yes,
and that's why you're into this beautiful field. That's really nice.
Yes.
Very, very interesting. As a child, Mr. Yuvraj, what is
Yes.
it that you observed as a child very keenly when you seen your father working in the fields and all the other people around him? What was it that you were observing, and what was it that was in your mind constantly telling you?
During childhood, while I saw my parents and my grandfather working in the field, there were two things continuously going in my head, that how can we improve the agriculture output, because still, though Punjab is contributing largest component of grains, still we are far behind the other nations. So I always thought of how we can innovate, and that gave me the interest of joining the mechanical engineering, which I joined in IIT Dhanbad in 2013. And at the same time, when I saw my father and my grandparents, and at this same time other farmers working, that gave me the courage to do hard work, because most of the farmers, they are doing more hard work so that they can produce the best yield. And it is the motivation of doing hard work which pushed me into getting prepared and started preparing for the UPSC. So these two things gave me the motivation, and these two things actually I observed which pushed me into this field, ma'am. So these two things are the biggest things, ma'am.
Excellent, sir. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Now, while you have decided to go into this field,
Yes,
or
ma'am.
entering into this journey, what were the obstacles that you faced? Any two obstacles that you faced it was very tough, but you overcame it with determination?
Yes, ma'am. I'm coming from a rural background. First of all, till final year of my college, I never knew anything about Indian Forest Service or the Union Public Service Commission, because we never heard about that. And second, ma'am, coming from same rural background, I was not that fluent in English or the understanding of English subject. And for the Indian Forest Service, English is the core component, because every subject is in English and we have to write the exams in English. And third part, ma'am, while working, it is very difficult to give wholehearted time for this preparation of the services. But due to the financial constraints or my other commitments towards the family, I had to continue. My job was more than 8 to 8 hours, approximately 12 hours a day. And from that, I used to squeeze some time to study. And that took me a lot more time to clear the exam. But I guess, and I still believe, that time which I took made me more stronger and hardworking, because it developed resilience and perseverance in me. Because I failed in many attempts, but I still continued, because that was the passion which I have developed. So that kept me putting. So all the issues which were coming, they actually became a source of motivation for me. So they are not issues now anymore, ma'am.
Wow, I really like the way you put it. Resilience and perseverance are these are the two things that you've learned. And
Yes,
you mentioned about failure. In
yes, ma'am.
spite of failing, you kept on continuing the journey till you
Yes,
succeeded, right?
yes, ma'am.
This is what we want on the International Fab Talks. Every one of us should learn. No matter if you fail, keep trying and trying till you succeed. Keep it up. Don't feel dejected. Don't feel depressed if you fail. Keep trying time and again. Definitely you will succeed.
Obviously, I was failing, I was getting disheartened. But in that whole process, my friends, my family, my mother she was the backbone of my everything. I am here because of my mother, ma'am, because I have seen her hardworking. So she continuously pushed me, no matter how many times I failed. She always asked me to study, study, study. So I continued, ma'am. And I wish everyone does like this, because if I can do, many others can do, ma'am.
Brilliant, brilliant. So I really like this, Mr. Yuvraj. See, you were so bold enough to say that you have failed 5 times and you still continued your journey, and today you are here. That's really nice. And you give the credit to your mother as well. You're very humble.
Yes,
You've given the credit to your mother, saying that she was behind you, the force to push you
yes,
forward in spite of failure.
yes, ma'am.
Really nice. So, friends, I think all of us should learn from you today. Even I, and I think every one of us should learn from you. Even if you fail, there is always hope that you will get it in future, whatever you want, whatever it may be. Of course, it should be good things that you aspire for. So keep trying till you succeed finally. So that's a beautiful example. I'm really happy that you shared this openly. You know, many of the youngsters, when they fail the first time, they are dejected, and many of them commit suicide. Many of them go into depression, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I think they can learn a lot from you. And I have also learned a lot from you just when you shared that. You shared this. So I could resonate and connect with you that there is power within us to overcome all the challenges. That's great, sir. Now you've mentioned about your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Would you like to share something about your mother?
Yes, ma'am. She's a graduate, and she has been working. She's a homemaker, but she has always stood by my father in every tough situation, whatever it may come. Because my father actually he started his job as a conductor, small bus conductor, and his duty hours were very odd. Like in the morning, he had to go up and wake up at 2:30, and he used to come by 6. So my mother, she always dreamt of making us study so much hard. So she used to wake up at 2 in the morning, prepared food for my father, sent her. Then she went to sleep. Again, wake up at 5 because we were living in far village, and it took more than 1 hour for us to reach the school. She used to prepare food for us, and in that whole process, she gave her everything, ma'am. She gave her everything. So I am here because of her. And ma'am, next, while doing her motherly duties and her family duties, she was sarpanch of her village for more than 16 years, from 2003 to 2018. So she has worked in multiple fronts, and I have learned most of the things from her. Like she failed in many elections, but she still stood strong and again contested. And so that resilience and perseverance I learned from her, and the hard work came from my father, because I have seen him waking up at 2 in the morning, going for his duties, coming back, never took off, so that he can earn some good money for the family, because we were not coming from the financially strong family. So they two are the biggest pillar of who Yuvraj is. So everything is for the mother. Now she is happy, and she's proud mother that his son is here.
Excellent. Your story is so beautiful, sir. It's really, really very impressive. As you've said, I have learned the skill of resilience from my mother.
Yes,
As
ma'am.
you mentioned, she was the sarpanch from 2003 to 2018, I guess, right?
Yes.
And then in between, she might have faced a lot of failures,
Yes.
or they didn't elect her. She didn't come up, and stand up like according to
Yes.
the public voting or whatever. I mean, that
Yes,
takes
ma'am.
place, right? She might have lost the elections, but then she was very resilient and she was able to sustain it from 2003 to 18. That is a great thing. And you
Yes.
learned it from her, you say. That's really nice.
Yes, ma'am.
And at the same time, Yuvraj sir, you also mentioned about your father. You have learned hard work from your father.
Yes, ma'am.
That's really great. That's really nice. Giving credit to your parents. And today your parents must be very proud. Your mother is
Yes,
very proud of you. That's really nice. That's
ma'am.
great. What about siblings? Do you have siblings?
Yes, ma'am. I have a younger sister. She is working as a doctor, and she's working with a private hospital, Aviva in Amritsar. And she also motivates me, because whenever I fail, and there are some instances what you cannot share with your parents, so I always shared with her. So she always supported me that Bhaiya, you continue your hard work. I am there for you. Despite she is 4.5 years younger to me, still she supported me. And actually, we are a family of 4 people, very strongly connected and knitted. We share each other's problem and everything, because we have a common desire to make our grandfather's name very famous. Because my grandfather and my grandmother, they migrated from Pakistan during the partition, so they worked in someone else's field, and they were daily wage workers. So they have seen the struggle, and that fire pushed my father to work hard. See, actually, while he was a conductor, he still pursued his LLB.
Oh, wow. Great.
He still pursued his LLB just because he wanted to prove himself that he is a son of a daily wage earner. If he can do it, others can also do it. So there is no shortage of motivation for me, because I have seen my grandfather working hard, my father working hard, my mother working hard. So the common aim of our family was to make our grandfather proud. Today he is not alive, but wherever he is, he should be proud, because just few days ago only we completed our new home, and I have put the nameplate of him like Anant Nivas. So because his name was Anant Ram, so I put the name of him just for his memory. So I think I'm contributing a little bit to make him proud wherever he is. So this is our whole story, ma'am.
Very, very interesting. And it's so nice to hear it. Just to listen to you speak gives us a lot of courage and happiness and joy. That's really nice. And as you said, Anant Nivas is already ready and you put a nameplate there
Yes,
with
ma'am.
your grandfather. I'm sure from above he will be blessing you
Yes,
today
ma'am.
and everyone in your family. That's really nice.
Yes, ma'am.
That's really so interesting. Now, I would like to know, is he your paternal grandfather or your maternal grandfather? Like
He was paternal grandfather.
paternal grandfather.
Yes.
It's really nice. So you've got a lot of respect for your elders. This
Yes.
is one thing that I've noticed right from the start. You're giving credit to your parents, your grandparents, and even your sister. You've mentioned that you're very close to
Yes.
her. That's really great. So now, what I'd like to ask you is, please give a little message before we go forward into the session. I'd like you to give a message at this point to the younger generation to respect their parents. Because what we notice nowadays amongst the younger generation, they have become selfish, self-centered. So
Yes, ma'am.
I would like you, because you're the youth of India, I would like you to give a suggestion uh, or a wonderful message for all the youth of the world. Over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the youth of India, they are doing fabulous work. Like they are much smarter than us. And I don't see a selfish as a negative word. But I want that selfishness should include the family and their little friends, little family circles. Because what we are as a new generation is doing, they are selfish only for their own narrow interest. However, if they include the interest of their family and then become selfish, that would be a good thing. But at the same time, ma'am, I believe when we are selfish, we lost or we lose the broader picture of the society. Because this is the reason when every small person becomes selfish or the small family becomes selfish, we actually create anarchy, जो हिंदी में अराजकता बोलते हैं मैम, तभी अराजकता आती है जब सब सेल्फिश हो जाते हैं. सो आई बिलीव दैट हमें बुद्ध का we need to find a madhya marg, and this generation needs to find a madhya marg between fulfilling the materialistic goal, and at the same time they need to incorporate the spiritual goals inside them. Then only they will reduce the selfishness and contribute to the society and for themselves also, because Buddha always said that we need to find a madhya marg, because we cannot do everything for the society and leave our families in poverty, in some disdain and everything. So we need to find a middle path. And in that process, actually, ma'am, I think parents have to do a bigger role. Actually, parents have to understand the problems which the younger childs are facing and the demands which they want to be fulfilled. Like if a parent is snatching phone from a child, he is doing disservice to this child. One day he will learn that values and he will become selfish. So parents have to accommodate with the time, changing time, and efforts from both sides are needed so that child can become less selfish and contribute to the society also and to the family also.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for sharing about the Madhya Marg. That is really nice. That's very
Yes.
true, what you've shared. Thank you very much. Recently, Baiduj was celebrated.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you celebrate it with your sister?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I celebrated with her, ma'am.
That's really nice. Amongst all the festivals, which festival appeals to you the most?
Ma'am, I guess in India, every day is a festival,
Wow.
because every day is a festival. We have a large population. Whenever you go to the markets, they are bustling with the people, surrounding with the lights, horns, pomp, and show. Everything is going on. But out of all the festivals, ma'am, I believe Diwali is one of the best festival. Not because it has gone recently, but it has a broader message to give to the society. It is not about bursting crackers or just lighting diyas. It is all about, if we learn the values of Lord Ram, it is dedication to the family, because he never said anything against his father, despite his father was convinced that he is being given banvas of 14 years, exile of 14 years. He said, okay, I will go. So he respected his father's will. He trusted his brothers, which is nowadays missing from the society. So we can learn that message. Third message, it is, if brothers stay together, no one can defeat them. That we can learn from Ravan and his brother, because his brother cheated him. And fourth, ma'am, we can learn best thing from the Hanuman. Even if you have knowledge, never misuse it, and use it for the good and not for the selfish interest. Because Hanumanji always worshipped Lord Ram, and he had so much knowledge, but he never misused it. And when he used it, he was reminded that you have to use it for the good purpose. That is all the purpose of Diwali. And also, Diwali is, ma'am, about celebrating solitude, like personal space, like Lord Ram, Sita, Mata, and Lakshman. They stayed in solitude. And when we stay alone, imagine if a person staying alone, he tries to introspect and retrospect, and he learns about himself. So if everyone learns and introspect himself, it will reduce the problems which society is facing. Because what we are doing is we are facing identity crisis. That's why youth is becoming more selfish, because he is thinking like money will buy him everything, but actually the happiness will come from inside. So Diwali has a big picture, but unfortunately we have reduced it to the crackers, sending WhatsApp messages. But it is much more than just crackers, ma'am. This is the message, and this is the reason why Diwali is one of the best festivals, ma'am, in India.
Explained so beautifully. That's really nice. Very interesting. Thank you for giving us the real significance of this beautiful festival,
Thank
Diwali.
you.
I would like to take you down memory lane to your school now.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
kind of a child were you in school? Were you a naughty student or a very good student? I want you to share any incident that happened in school, either with your teacher or friends.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I was a naughty child because I never liked to
I
study.
won't believe this. I won't believe this.
Ma'am, actually, I never wanted to study, ma'am. So, because first of all, I was always a latecomer to the school because I was coming from a far distance. I used to get late, but the school was accommodative because they knew that there was no direct transportation for me from home to school. So that was the one reason. So I was a naughty child. I never studied. For the like, there are three terms in the schools. For the first two terms, I never studied, but my mother used to beat me, and her beating brought me here, ma'am. Had she not beaten me and she has just pampered me like the other mothers, I would have been working in the fields with my other cousins. So it is her beating that brought me here. So in the final term, I used to study and pass the exams. And one incident, ma'am, it is very heartbreaking for me personally, which somehow changed my life. Like, I never knew that much English. So one of my friend, notoriously, he asked me to speak some words. So to my fellow mate, I didn't know the meaning. He told me it's a very good word. You say this to that person. I told him, but it was a very derogatory word which shouldn't be used. So that boy got hurt because of my word, and I was like normal. Like, I thought I have given him a compliment, but it was actually a derogatory word and insulted him. So he complained to ma'am. And on the parent teacher meeting, my ma'am complained to my mother that I have done this, and I got a bashing. And then I asked what I have done, because I was not knowing what wrong I have done. From that day, ma'am, it was in sixth or seventh class. From that day, I promised to myself that I will try to learn English and improve my vocabulary. So that was one of the turning point in my life, ma'am. So this is one of the incident which I remember, ma'am.
We're so proud of you today. You speak so well in English. And when you speak, I know I would like to keep on hearing the way you're sharing things. You are so connected with what you're sharing. You know how to share it very well. You know how to, attract the listeners to you when you speak. That's a wonder. So hats off to you for this courage of, wanting to overcome that challenge, that barrier, that language barrier. That's really
Yes, ma'am.
excellent. And thank you for sharing that incident. What
Thank
was
you
in my mind is you were a very good child. You did not
so much.
bunk school, or maybe you did not come late. It was like that. Yeah. Because now you see this, it's a beautiful change. You are such a fine gentleman today. Like, that's a great change. I think many of them could take a clue from you. Yes, sir. You were sharing something. You can go ahead.
Actually, I wanted to share that I was a very bad child in my school. My mother was very sad when she used to say that I'm not scoring good marks. But I always said her that when the right time will come, I will study. I always used to say her this thing. So after 11th, I improved myself. From 11th, I never attended any marriage of my cousins, my family, nothing. I focused wholeheartedly on my studies. So I changed from 11th till 10th. I was a notorious kid. So I want to give it a message that parents shouldn't get heartless if their student or their child are not studying till 10th. And same time, students or the children shouldn't get disheartened that they are not studying. They should enjoy their life till 10th. I wish that they study, but I want that they should enjoy their life, because actually if we are enjoying, we are learning many things. Because sometimes we just become a person who are just like a bookworm. They don't have a big experience of the life. And actually the most brilliant and the talented people in the world are those who have more experience. That is why the dropouts are more successful in the business or any politicians, because they observe people, they observe society, they observe their surrounding. Whereas the people who are only focused in studies, they are just become bookworms, and they end up as a clerk, as a R&D heads. I am not demeaning them, but I wish that a person should have a multiple personalities so that he can contribute for his own development, for the society also.
Excellent. So one should have a lot of experiences,
Yes, ma'am.
exposure to the world,
Yes, ma'am.
same time be connected to studies and improving their knowledge and contributing to the society. That's wonderful. Would love to know now, Yuvraj, what about your future aims and dreams? Like what's on your bucket list? You have come till here, very
Yes,
successful.
yes,
And
ma'am.
Nivas is ready, and that's a
Yes,
big moment of pride, I guess, in your family. Now,
yes,
from here, what next?
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in the near future, my first phase of training is coming to an end in December last. So I will be going to my workplace from 1st of January. So there I have planned to give my best and use my earlier experience of working as assistant manager with the Coal India Limited in the human resource management. In the initial phase, I'm focused in learning, because I cannot commit that I will bring the change, because first of all I have to learn the system, how things are working and how things will work in the future. So first my goal is to learn. In next stage, when I think I am capable of understanding how things are actually working in this large country like India, so I might need to work in the sector of environment, because in India, environment is not given a due concern. Like scientific society is giving due concern. Like scientists are working hard to improve environment. Government is doing its bit, but there is lack of awareness about environment.
Very
Like if we see the example of rivers, rivers are not polluted because of nature. It is being polluted because of us, and we see it as a spiritual thing by throwing our garbage, our puja material into that, but actually it is doing a disservice to the nature. So I think small efforts can bring a change. Like I thought of a solution, ma'am. Like milk pouches are available in every part of the country, and they are single use plastic, and they are big cause of sewage blockage. So what I thought is, like if I get the opportunity, like we can make a supply chain that where we can collect all the milk packets from the households in my neighborhood, and we can use them in the nursery plantation. Actually, in the forest department, what we are doing is we are buying plastic material to plant the seedlings. Instead of buying the new material, new plastic, we can go for this. This will be cost effective also, and it will reduce the issue of pollution and environment degradation. These small efforts I want to I want to inculcate into the service, so that my little efforts can bring the change. This is all what I have, and if other opportunities come, I will give my best to the service, ma'am.
That's really nice. So you're focusing on sustainable development,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, to recycle it and to contribute in the right way to save
Yes,
our environment. That's really
yes,
nice. And that's great. Would you like to talk about friendship, Yuvraj?
yes, ma'am.
Have your friends supported you? Because see, one friend has really hurt you that you shared that, right? When you were a little boy in sixth class.
Ma'am, actually, I hurt him.
Oh,
Actually, and he,
somebody else. No,
yes,
somebody else asked you to say that word,
yes,
right?
because of I was the person who hurted also, and I got hurt also. So it got balanced. So ma'am, friendship is the most beautiful and important thing for the growth of a person. Like ma'am, very beautifully it is said that you are an average of your friends. Your minds and your skills are always average of your friends. So first of all, we should have a good company. And my friends always pushed me, ma'am, no matter what. Like I used to fail in the exams. Few of my friends, I can't take names because if I take name of one or two, the other will get angry on me. So they have always motivated me, ma'am. And like they are always the shoulders on which you can cry if you fail, ma'am. Because there is a bad perception in the society that men don't cry. Actually, men cry and men should cry because the person who is crying actually is more emotionally intelligent, and in that process your friends come into the picture and they play a beautiful role. So friendship help you monetarily, supportively, emotionally, knowledge sharing, everything. For everything friends are there, because you cannot call your father at 3 in the morning and say that I am suffering from this issue, but anytime you can call your friend and say that I am suffering from this thing, you come over. So friends are the strength which push people to the society in at the higher echelons, ma'am.
So proud of you. You have spoken so well. You have spoken so well about friendship. That's really very nice.
Again.
It's nice. And you said that men should cry. They should
Yes.
not be told like don't cry, because this is a concept in the Indian society, like men should not cry. लड़के हो रो रहे हो क्या? ये तो हमेशा सब लोग बोलते आ रहे थे. So I think that trend should change. And you said if a person is able to cry and let out that emotion, out, he or she becomes emotionally intelligent or stronger. Good.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful. And you've spoken so highly of friends. Like you also mentioned, at 3 a.m. I can't disturb my father. At
Yes.
least I can call a friend and he will definitely help me in
Yes.
the right way. That's really good. Talking positively about friendship. That's
Yes.
Now I'd like to take you to that part where many of the youngsters would be wanting to know this. Everyone, maybe the parents and the youngsters, everyone. What does one need to do to enter into the IFS or to enter into the zone where you are now?
Okay. Ma'am, first of all, we have to give Indian Forest Services exam, which is conducted by Union Public Service Commission every year. It is a three-stage process which everyone has to undergo. It first stage consists of prelims exam, which is the common exam for the civil services examination and the Indian Forest Service examination. First, the cutoff for the Indian Forest Service examination in the prelims is approximately 10 to 15 marks higher than the normal civil services examination, which actually selects the IAS, IPS, and the 19 other services. So if you clear through this exam, first stage like prelims, then there is a mains examination where you have to prepare for the 6 exams. Uh, there are one is general studies, which include subjects like history, geography, polity, political science, like polity, then science and technology, environment. It is a broad ambit covering everything. It consists of 300 marks. Then we have a exam of English. It covers essay, paragraph, and all other things. Then we have to select two optional exam papers, and two optionals like I selected forestry and geology. And for each optional, we have two exams each, paper one and paper two. And for the similarly for the other optionals, we have to get it. So we have to give exams for the mains. This is the second stage called mains. If we clear the main, then we go for the interview round. In interview round, there are 4 panelists. They will take your interview, and the interview consists of 300 marks. So once the interviews are over, your interview marks and your final marks in the mains are calculated, and then the merit list is prepared. And if you get into the merit list, then you are into the service. And every step, if you fail, you have to again start from the zero. It's just like a snake and ladders game. You come back again to the starting point.
Very interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, how long does this training take place? Now, you're in the training session, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Training is divided into various components. Like from our year, we have two phases of training. First phase consists of training in IGNFA. It is for approximately 12 months, 12 to 13 months. It will be in Dehradun, which include various thematic tours like we have to cover more than 20 states where we learn about various forestry activities which are going on, the environmental impacts, where how environmental issues are being tackled, how everything is being happening in and around our service, and the exposure to other services are also given through intersectoral studies topic. Then we have to go for the on-job training. Like our on-job training is for 4 months and it is starting from January and it will continue till April 31st. And then we have the second phase of a training. It will be 3 months and it will again be in Dehradun, IGNFA Academy. So it is totally of 16 and a half months in IGNFA. 3 months common training is for all the services in the Lavasna in Mysore. It starts in the first, then comes the first phase of our training. But first 3 months are common for every service. And then finally, after completing the second phase, we are given the diploma certificate along with the passing ceremony. And we are then joined as an ACFs, Assistant Conservator of Forest, in the allocated cadre which we are given now. This is the whole process.
That's really nice. Thank you so much, Mr. Yuvraj. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Yes.
Now, from there, once you've completed this, you've attained whatever you have to attain. Is there a chance for promotion to a higher level?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, like first of all, approximately 2 years we are in the training phase. Then we work for two years as an ECF, Assistant Conservator of Forest. Then we are given the charge of DCF. Then we are given the charge of CF. Ma'am, the promotions are fixed, which continues like first promotion we will get after 2 years, then we will get after 13 years, again 4 years. It is the hierarchical process which is there. But the final posting, like the highest position in the state, like PCCF or the HOF, that is based on the merit, your seniority, and how much efficiently you have been working in the field. That decides you becoming the top tier officers in the state now.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Yuvraj. What I'd like to ask you now is, are women also into it, or is it only for men or women also?
Fortunately, our batch is having the highest number of women in the history of Indian Forest Services. Currently, we are having 24 female probationers with us out of 115 total members. So this is the highest percentage of women in our batch, ma'am. And over the years, new batch, more women are coming. But
That's
the
very nice.
limitation in the services, ma'am, a person who is willing to join, he should come from a science background. That is the limitation and the only condition which he has to fulfill.
Yes. Any age criteria with this?
Yes, ma'am. There is a age criteria. Like a person, he is allowed to give 6 attempts along with the age bracket of 32 years. But there are some relaxation for the various categories, which accommodates like 9 attempts for OBC, unlimited attempts till 35 for the SC/STs. This is the classification, ma'am. But overall, it is 32 years or the 6 attempts, whichever is the earliest.
That's really wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. There are many youngsters who are afraid of taking this exam. That is the Union Public Service Commission exam. They're so
Yes.
scared, like ek dar ho jata unme, don't know what are the questions, how can I attempt it? They
Yes.
want to, but they are hesitating. So for those type of people, the youngsters, even at one point of time, I hesitated, to be very frank. Like me, there must be several other people out. So what is the message or the suggestion that you have that you'd love to share with them to come out of their shell, to break that? Because if you can come from an agricultural background here, what about the others? They can also come out, right? Over to you.
Ma'am, the only thing I want to say is a person who till 2016 knew nothing about UPSC, he has cleared this exam. A generation which is very tech savvy, who has resources at its hand, inexpensive resources, they can also do it. The only thing required is the perfect training, the perfect awareness, and the commitment and dedication from a person. These are the four things which are required, because there are multiple sources available in on the internet and the offline classes, but a person has to choose from which source they have to study and how much they have to study. And at the end of the day, ma'am, if a person has a fire in him or her, they will do everything to achieve it, no matter how many obstacles come, no matter how many issues financially, emotionally they come, they will get silent. It is all the commitment which we have to make, ma'am.
Excellent. So commitment is the key to success. That's
Yes,
really nice.
yes, ma'am.
Now, while you are in the training process, are
Yes,
you given a stipend or something like that?
yes, ma'am. We are paid as a grade 10 officer as per the rules of Central Government of India, ma'am. We are getting our salaries, ma'am.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, मुझे ये पूछना है, when you got your first salary, how did you feel when you just received it? How did you feel? The first salary.
Ma'am, to be true, it was a normal thing for me because I was already working for 5.5 years. But the first salary which I got in the Coal India Limited, that I was very happy. I sent the whole money to my parents so that they can do whatever they want to do with that money. And first of all, I asked them to offer that money to a place where I worship, so that it is my way of showing gratitude. Although for the spiritual things and the religious thing, money shouldn't matter and doesn't matter, but still I sent my sweets to that place. And for that, I was actually very happy on getting the first salary now, and I sent it to the family.
How nice. That's really nice.
Yes.
You're a great example. I think many of the parents would love to have a son like you. Naughty, but at the same time, very responsible. That's really nice. I mean, earlier stages, as you mentioned, let parents allow their children to enjoy the childhood, right? And at the same
Yes, ma'am. Actually, parents should allow them.
yes, that's really great. That's wonderful. So now we'll talk about love. What
Sure, ma'am.
what are your thoughts on love? Over to you.
Ma'am, love actually is a very pure thing, and it shouldn't get degraded because of the societal noise of the new generation, which is running after something else in the name of love.
Very true.
Because actually, love is a thing which can help you connect with the God. Because if we see the example of Heer or the Ranja, in Heer Ranja, actually he was trying to convey his message to the God in the form of Heer Ranja, Varisha. So he used the love story to communicate his love for the God, but he used love actually between two persons to depict it so that people can understand. So I had my share of love, and I was happy. And in the coming few days, hopefully, I will get married. So my parents have arranged a girl for me, and we are happy. And hopefully, things will get smooth. And I think more than love, friendship should be the base of every relationship, because I have seen my home, like my parents do fight, and in every home, parents do fight. But if friendship is not there, love will fade away. So a common bond of friendship should be there. Only then love will sustain. So love is actually a pure thing, and I think it cannot be described in words. It is actually a feeling which comes from within, and it get dispersed within only. So that is the thoughts I can share on love.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being very open, transparent, and genuine when you share. You're a person sharing from your heart. There are no filters. That's
Yes,
really nice. That's very good.
actually, the only problem is like if we are doing something, it should be true because many people are seeing us. And if I tell the fake story, they will learn from it. And that would be bad on my part. So I am trying to be as much truthful as I can be possible.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. What I'd love to ask you now, Mr. Yuvraj, have you traveled across India? Have you, left the northern part of India and traveled towards the eastern, western, and the southern part of India?
Hopefully, ma'am, I have covered most of the parts of India. Like Northeast, I have covered, South, I have covered, West, I have covered, and in North, I am living. And in Central India, I was just week ago in Madhya Pradesh for 2 weeks. I have worked in Jharkhand for more than 5.5 years, and my college was also in the Jharkhand. So I have visited most of the India, ma'am.
That's it. What is it that you learn when you have been moving all around India to different states? What is it that you get to see and observe, and what did you learn from like the interactions with all of these people in the different states?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, when we see different people, first of all, we learn the value system, like how the person is behaving and from where it is coming. Because every person's behavior or attitude is outcome of the value system he is having. Like if like I was in the Bangalore, ma'am, for 4 months, there I saw that people are actually very open when it comes to the work, but at the same time they are very happy at spending their money. So it shows the culture of liberalization, which is actually running the society in that part of the city. And at the same time, when I was in Bihar or Jharkhand, there I saw that people actually they are starved of money. They are working very hard so that they can save money, and they are actually preparing for the future, and they are pushing their children because they think their children are not just children, they are their assets for the future. So in different parts I have learned different things, and at the same time, ma'am, the most important thing I have learned is the culture amalgamation in India which is happening, and that is the biggest strength of India. Like a person who is from Coimbatore, he knows Tamil, but when a person from Punjab will go there, he will speak in Tamil only because he don't know Punjabi, but he will try to incorporate and understand what I'm trying to say, and at the same time, I am understanding. So this increases the actual toleration in the society, and that is the only reason India has survived every invasion. And I wish that this point is very elaborate and awareness should be created about these things. These small things are there, but these are the foundation of India, ma'am.
Yes, yes, sir. That's really nice. You explained that so well towards the end. You said, like, two people from two different states, when they come
Yes,
like and talk to each other and they can't understand the language, but still they make an attempt to understand the
yes,
other
ma'am.
person. That's really nice because I have been in that place, so I understand. I don't know what he's saying or he's saying, and they don't
Yes,
know that, but still they try to make an attempt to
yes,
understand and guide us. That's really nice.
yes,
Either through gestures, hand gestures, or
yes,
get help from somewhere. That's very nice. That's really nice. So that's the beauty of India, you see.
yes, ma'am.
It's really nice. So, if I were to ask you this question, what is the difference you find with our country and other countries? You might have seen many of the Western countries, the well-developed countries, and India. If I were to ask you to pinpoint a drawback that is in India compared to the Western countries, where do you think India is lagging when compared to the Western countries?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there are multiple fronts which we can discuss because there is no one point. Because in multiple aspects, India is in front, whereas in multiple aspects, India is laggard. Like if we see the development perspective, India needs to catch up a long distance to reach the level of development and the human development index which the Western countries are having. And for that, we need to make investments in the industries. Second, we need to focus more on the education and the health. And for that, I wish our people understand that whenever a politician or an officer come, they should make him accountable to provide him the good education and health, because that are the two big basic pillars on which the society functions and does the improvement. And the second point is, ma'am, if we see the reason for the development of the Western world, they separated religion from the state and the governance structures. So when a religion is at the back end or it's a personal thing of an individual, the societies progress more because they have a common agenda of development. However, like in India, I am also a religious and a spiritual person, but I always wish that religion should be a very personal aspect. Rather, it shouldn't be mixed with any other emotive subject. So that I think can be a little thing on which India needs to work. Otherwise, India is doing a fantastic job, and I wish we get the good education and being person coming from the bureaucratic circles, I will try my best to do whatever I can do for the society, ma'am.
Very proud of you for your progressive thoughts. I really like the way you put it so nicely without hurting anybody's sentiments. That's
Yes,
really
ma'am.
nice. Religion is something very personal, but when you work for the public, it should be for the best of in the interest of humanity.
Yes, ma'am.
That's really nice. There should not
Yes.
be any of our personal interests in that or something like that. It should be like for humanity. Humanity is the greatest religion, no matter which religion we belong to, but we should always give importance to every life that is on this earth, right? That's
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Thank you so much. You're very progressive and more power to you with regard to what you've shared. That's really wonderful, sir.
Thank you.
What I'd like to share from my end is when I have been to other countries, I have seen that there is a lot of cleanliness over there. They
Yes.
feel responsible for the things that they drop down. They just
Yes.
carelessly throw any wrapper. They are so conscious of throwing it in the dustbin. Even if they have a pet, if the pet soils the place, they are so conscious of picking it up and putting it in the right place, dustbin or in
Yes.
the trash can. But in India,
Yes, ma'am.
right from the top, the topmost cadre, if I could say that, I will not mention any of the departments,
Yes.
to the, the person below the poverty line.
Yes, ma'am.
Most of us take it for granted that the government will send somebody to clean the place, and
Yes.
they either spit on the happily or carelessly throw the
Yes.
wrappers or dirty the place, all sorts of things. So one thing in India has to improve on cleanliness. That is one major drawback which I have personally observed, and many of the people have spoken to me about cleanliness in India. What do you have to say, and what are the measures you would be taking once you come to your post and where you've taken full control and charge of it? Over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the reason for lack of cleanliness in India is the missing civic sense, because we focus only on our homes, because that was the point I was mentioning, that we become selfish for our small goals, because we everyone wants to keep his home clean, but we will
Very true.
put garbage near the street. So we need to bring the awareness, and in this process, ma'am, we need to work on the multiple aspects, because a change cannot come overnight. First of all, ma'am, we need to make the children in the school aware, because it is always good to catch young minds, because it is always easy to train them. First aspect is we can train the children that they should focus on the cleanliness, because that values will continue over their life. Second, ma'am, we need to provide the people with the alternatives. Like, if a person, like, we can take an example of a residential colony. If they are not getting the facilities where a person or a vehicle is coming to collect the garbage, they have no other option than to throw it in a place or the streets. So second front is we have to provide the amenities, like a vehicle should come. uh, Third, ma'am, we have to work on the sewage treatment plants, so that the waste isn't thrown away to the rivers. And fourth, ma'am, we have to utilize the technologies like incineration, so that the waste which is collected from the municipal workers, from the local societies, it is actually processed and reused in any form, so that landfills are not created big and big, and that creates more nuisance. So we have to work on the multiple fronts. And ma'am, I'm very happy to share that Swachh Bharat mission of Government of India, it is actually working in this front. So they have a policy of segregation of the waste. There is a awareness campaign where multiple people, officials, and the NGOs are engaged. And third, ma'am, coming to my responsibility as an administrator, I have shared the small initiative which I will take, like the collection of the plastic paper, single-use plastic. And coming from the forest background, I see the potential of bamboo in improving this thing, ma'am. Like, if we convert bamboo, because bamboo's fiber is a very efficient fiber, and it can be used for the storage of things. And third, and the fourth point is, ma'am, there is an invasive species called Lantana camera, and it is an invasive species which create a ruckus in the forest, in the open grasslands. We can use its fiber for converting into the bags that can used by the peoples. And over the time, if plastic is reduced, our problem will get reduced. So we have to work on the multiple fronts and the alternatives to which we can have.
Excellent, Yuvraj. So you've spoken about eco-friendly products, that is
Yes, ma'am.
eco-friendly bags, right? That's really
Yes,
nice.
ma'am.
You've given
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
And if plastic problem is, given importance, like, how to deal with plastic waste, I think then India will also be like clean and clean. Because you see, Mr. Yuvraj, what I've seen, many empty plots
Yes, ma'am.
in many posh areas. There are few empty plots over there.
Yes, ma'am.
All of them bring their dust and dump it over there.
Yes, ma'am.
And if there is a strike with regard to these municipal workers, and then that is hell over there. It's very, very dirty and it is left for days. And until either people like you or me go forward and do something, things will work out. Otherwise, nobody bothers about it. जैसे आपने कहा, मेरा घर साफ है तो वो काफी है. If my house is clean and neat, it's okay. Like, I don't care about what's outside.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
what do you have to say like now? Because you're going to take your charge very soon, and like, what are the measures that you would want to, or what is the, before we go over there, what is the message you'd like to give now to the public or the people of India with regard to throwing or dumping trash carelessly?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, before answering your this question, I want to make one point, ma'am. Ma'am, in India, unfortunately, the municipal workers or the manual scavengers, they are not given the due respect and dignity which they should.
Very true.
Until we don't give them the respect and dignity, things won't change. Because that reflects the poor civic sense in India. Because don't treat them as a human. Until we don't treat them as a humans, we will not improve our own selves. Because Gandhiji always said that don't hate the evildoer, hate the evil. And the same way, Gandhiji always said that if you want to achieve a good thing, your path cannot be of negative things. So ends and means have to be followed. If we want cleanliness, we have to respect and give dignity to the manual scavengers or the municipal workers because they are doing the biggest job of the cleanliness. And coming to the second point, ma'am, as an officer or as an public servant, we have to provide the facilities to the people because there is no other way they can improve. Like in the every society, like there is a regular collection of the garbage from the households, but at the same time we need to put dustbins also there because we cannot fight a war without having weapons. Like we can say that we need to bring cleanliness, but we as a government or the government machinery not providing dustbins, we cannot do anything. So we have to provide the dustbins, particular collection systems, and ma'am, we can use the technology also like that. Like there can be a system where if a dustbin is full, that can give a message to the municipal circle, or that is the thing which is getting incorporated in the smart cities also, which will come over the years. So that can be used like a siren will blow up or a message will be conveyed to the municipal organization that this dustbin is full in that location, you go and collect. Multiple aspects can be done, and ma'am, we need to incorporate the NGOs to creating awareness so that imagine I am placing 10 dustbins but no one is putting garbage in that. So along with the dustbins, I have to convey the message to the people so that they can change. So multiple fronts we have to work, ma'am. And the best example is Singapore, ma'am. We need to learn things from the Singapore. Like it is a small city, but they manage their waste so well that it is a fabulous job they are doing, ma'am. But at the same time, they give the most respect and one of the highest salaries to their manual scavengers or the workers.
Excellent. That's really nice. Thank you so much for sharing
Yeah.
that. You really done justice to that question. What
Yeah.
I'd like to bring to light here is, in spite of keeping dustbins at the right place, there
Yes.
are many of the people in India just fling the packet. They don't even make an attempt to go near the dustbin and drop it in. दूर से ठहर के फेंक देते हैं. तो
Yes.
ये बात, don't do that, my dear friends. So just go walk up to the dustbin and drop it inside. Be kind enough, because the person who's picking up the dust, as you know, it's really
Yes.
very painful to see them doing that. We don't
Yes.
want to do it. We want to stay safe. Somebody else will do it. At least make it easy for them to pick it up. Just don't trash it all over the place. Dustbin is empty, the dust is all outside. And one more thing, Mr. Yuvraj, what I'd like to say is, in a certain state of India, there are, certain animals left, like, to move about. I
Yes, ma'am.
don't want to mention the name of the animal or the state. They believe that it should not be harmed, it should not be, disturbed. They just allow it to move and they feed it food, most of the people.
Yes, ma'am.
But sadly to say, when we've observed these animals eating from the trash sometimes,
Yes, ma'am.
they start consuming the plastic packets and the trash that they're eating, and that becomes too dangerous for their stomach. And many of the
Yes,
cases we've seen them going in, the veterinary doctors going in for the operation and removing this plastic and all from the animals. Now, this is a sin.
actually,
Yeah, this is a great sin. You want the animals to be free, okay, that we accept that, and we appreciate you giving that much importance. But there are some people mindlessly throwing the plastic packets where these animals go there, eat it, and that's a great problem to them. We've seen several animals suffering, undergoing the procedure of surgery, etc. and all. What have you to say with regard to this? Because this problem exists as of this very moment when I'm saying. There are many of my friends who have shared it. This happens in our state. We've seen this happening. We can't do anything. We are just mute spectators. Over to
yes, ma'am. Also, it is a multidimensional problem. First is the garbage which individuals are throwing, animals are forced to eat. Second, ma'am, if we take the example of a big city like Bangalore,
Mhm.
what people are doing is they are actually taking over illegally the lands or the sites which were actually the open spaces for the animals and were the grasslands where the animal used to feed on. Like they have completely filled the lakes and used to build the properties. So there is illegal occupation of lands which is happening and reducing the place where the animals can feed. Third, ma'am, there are some issues on the end of the person also. Like what they are doing is once their animal is not productive or the milch animal is not giving milk, they open it because it is not financially viable to keep him. And due to the religious sentiments in India, there is no other way to end the life of animal also because it is also inhuman. And due to the religious sentiments also, some people think that it is better to make them move away rather than to let or keep them and make them die. So there are multiple issues. So to address these issues, ma'am, gaushalas are one of the best way where we can provide solution for this. And ma'am, innovative solution can be a collection of food from the restaurants because actually coming from a rural background, because the household waste which we are producing like the rotis or the dal, we actually give it to the cow. And if everything gets collected from the restaurants or the houses, that can be fed to the animals in the gaushalas. That will solve the problem of food for the animals and they will not feed on the garbage bins. And at the same time we have to reduce the garbage bins. These are the multiple ways which we can address this issue, ma'am. And also, ma'am, the breed quality or the number of kettles which we need, that can also be done scientifically. And in that I think Gokul mission is working so that a female kettle that gives milk for the longer time period and it can feed on the multiple forms of fodder.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Mr. Yuvraj. You shared that so well. That's really very, very interesting. And another thing that I'd like to bring to the notice of the entire public and as well as to your notice, I'd like to bring that animals also sometimes attack us if they
Yes,
are
ma'am.
just left like to move around in the colonies just like that.
Yes,
At
ma'am.
one point of time, they may suddenly lose, composure, or maybe and they may think
Yes, ma'am.
that we are going to attack them or something. I don't know. They attack human beings in a very, very dangerous way. We've seen them, injuring little children and attacking senior citizens, etc. So just allowing animals to stray around in colonies and open plots, I guess, as you mentioned, a certain place should be really kept for the animals to be
Yes,
given
ma'am.
a lot of care and comfort than to be
Yes,
just letting them move around, causing chaos for themselves and for the public around. If I'm not hurting anybody, it's just only a thought. So if at
yes,
all I've spoken anything that you don't like, my dear friends, kindly forgive me. But it is in the interest of the animal and human beings that I'm
yes,
speaking for. Over
yes,
to you,
ma'am.
sir.
So, ma'am, like common places can be there, like municipal corporations. They can actually capture the animals because there are various way to capture the animal which is very aggressive. Like we give the injections of ketamine in which animal get tranquilized for a little period. We can capture him and move him to a place. Like if gaushalas are not available, we can move him a place like far away from the urban areas, but at the same time we cannot let cattle move to the forest areas because there
Very
are so constraints. Because if cattle which are not the actual part of forest, if they go to the forest, it will disturb the natural system or the food web in the forest. So they can be put in the fringe areas, like buffer area between a forest or an urban area or a rural area. There we can put it. Or there can be Gaushalas, I think, are the best ways to help resolve this issue. And being a religious country and in which cows are revered as a mother, I think everyone can contribute 1 rupees, 2 rupees, 10 rupees, or feed or the fodder, which can actually contribute for the welfare of animal, and at the same time they can get resolved from this issue.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yuvraj. Thank you. You've done a lot of justice on this platform today. Before we sign off, one
Yes,
big question. We talk about mental health. We've
yes,
talked about all topics, like most of the topics. And this
yes,
one thing I wouldn't want to let you off without sharing this about mental health. Now, what uh, what do you think mental health is for you and for the people in India? Because now we have been awakened to that important part of our lives where we're giving importance to mental health. In the West, it's very common that they give importance to psychologists, psychiatrists, etc.,
yes,
etc., mental health counselors, etc. But in India, it is slowly catching up, and still many people shy away, especially in villages or from the rural area, and even in the cities and towns as well. They shy
yes,
away from meeting a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a mental health counselor, thinking XYZ. I wouldn't want to mention that. Over to
yes.
you. What do you think mental health is, and how should people break the barriers and come out and take the services of mental health professionals?
Okay. First of all, unfortunately, ma'am, mental health is a taboo in India still, and it is linked with the very derogatory things, like people who are actually suffering depression or mental issues. People don't acknowledge the problem, rather they blame them for the knowledge. So, ma'am, I will narrate my personal story why mental health is very important. I'm in 12th class. I cleared my IIT exam, and I cleared my ISRO IISC exam. But unfortunately, 3 days before going for the counseling of IIT JEE, I underwent an accident. So I damaged my right hand completely. I got approximately 55 stitches. So I couldn't join my college. So I was continuously thinking my 1 year is gone, 1 year is gone, and my future is in dark. So I was continuously thinking the same thing. Then I got a call from NDA, SSB call, got. There I was out on the medical lines because I was not medically fit because of my hand. That pushed me into actually darkness for continuously long days, and it was way back in 2012. I was not able to sleep properly. I was continuously thinking. So in my family, living in a rural area, mental health issue is not a great thing. Everyone thought that I am not suffering from any issue. So my my maternal uncle, he told me that he is just frustrated that he's not going to college, so let him, he will get fine over the time. But actually one of my mother's colleague, she came that actually he is suffering from big problem, let's take him to the psychiatrist. And taking a person to the psychiatrist in a rural area way back in 2012, it was a big issue. But my parents, they took me. I took only 2 counseling sessions for my psychiatrist, and I was again motivated for again giving exam for the next year. So it's a small story, but it makes a big impact. So people should open up, and actually parents and grandparents, the focus is on grandparents, because they think mental health is nothing, but actually mental health is everything, because everyone is not built that strong. Everyone has a different emotional, everyone has a different set of values. So people should reach out for any help. There are multiple and the numerous helplines available on the internet. They can go to the doctors, they can ask their friend. However, due to the stigma in the society, people don't ask and they end up giving their life. This is the sad reality of why students do suicide in Kota or in Delhi, because they are not able to express themselves, and they fear that if they tell the truth to the parents or the society, they will make fun of them, and in that thing they lose their life. So time has come for the India and for the whole world, I think, that mental health should be given due importance, because if your mental health is fine, you are fine, and if your mental health is not fine, you, no matter how much money you earn, everything is vain. And third thing I need to add for the mental health is, never use drugs or the alcohol to escape the mental issue. It will just give you the short term respite, but for the longer term it will give you the big problem. So consult a doctor whenever you feel that you are depressed, because a person who are actually feeling the depression, he may not know he's actually suffering from the depression. His parents, his friends need to understand his behavior and inform his parents or himself that doctor's help is required. So I think, and at the same time, government need to work on increasing the number of seats for the psychiatrists and the psychologists in India, because we are among the lowest worldwide for having the lowest number of psychiatrists in the medical field. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yuvraj Digra. You've done justice today. You know, I feel happy and content when I listened to you when you were speaking. It was really a moment that I should tell this now. It feels like, yeah, I'm doing something good on the International Fab Talks by connecting with you type of people, with your thought process, with your experiences, with the truth and honesty that you shared. And you've also shared your personal experiences, even with regard to mental health, you opened up and shared so well.
Yeah.
So I think you've done justice, and I'm really proud of you. And I'm proud of this platform that we are getting like you type of guests, people who really have something genuine to share and have something genuine for humanity to transform the world in the right way. That's really nice. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the next interaction with you very soon. We wish you all the best in all your endeavors. Lots of love to your entire village, to your parents, to your sister, to your friends, and to one and all, and your batchmates as well.
Thank you, ma'am. And I wholeheartedly thank you, ma'am, and the Fab Talks for giving me this opportunity to share my story. And I wish even the iota of things may help the society at large. The only thing I want to say is thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yuvraj. God bless you and
Thank
stay connected.
Thank you, ma'am.
Namaste. Thank
Good evening, ma'am.
you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So dear friends, with this, we come to an end to the International Fab Talks for today. Please do share this video with the right kind of people. Let it spread across the youth. Let them transform their thought process and let them emerge victorious. We all go through the highs and lows. And that is what the Fab Talks want to work on, the mental health aspect and as well as the environmental aspects. The way sir has shared his journey is an eye-opener for all of us. No matter if you have failed many times, you can rise above all difficulties and you can shine like a star. And my dear friends, it's our duty to give back to the society. We should not be selfish and self-centered. We should give back something to the country or to the society, if I could put it in that way. Give back something to the world. With this, we'd like to sign off now from the International Fab Talks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to the International Fab Talks. Above all, stay connected with the entire society, protect the environment, and above all, prioritize your mental health and be a blessing in this universe. With this, we'd like to sign off now. Many thanks to you, sir. Stay
Thank
blessed.
you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stay blessed, sir.